Coming up today, it's all about beets.
And we're going to show you how to use something you already have to assist you in growing peas.
All that and a whole lot more coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored in part by, for all your non-GMO, organic, and heirloom vegetable, flowers, and herb seeds, visit dollarseed.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil, retains moisture and adds nutrients, which equals less watering. Available in labor saver pre-filled trays and pots, bag and bulk. Visit SiouxCompost.com. Organic fertilizer for the health-conscious organic home gardener. Family owned and operated. Visit thewiveggardeners.com. Don't poison your soil with municipal water. Attach a body, mind, and soil hose filter. Free shipping exclusively through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Just click on the body, mind, and soil icon. Authentic Haven brand soil conditioner for the home gardener. Easy to brew. Visit ManureTea.com. No measuring, no thinking. Stamp it, plant it, stop plotting, start planting. GardenStamp.com. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Barrett. Well, today it's all about beets, and we're going to plant 3 different varieties of beets. Detroit Golden Beets, Detroit Red Beets, and Chiaga beets. Now, Chiaga beets are red and white circular rings inside of the bulb. They're an interesting bulb, and they all taste the same, whether you bake them, grill them, or pickle them, or whatever other way you go about to eat them. So we've prepped the bed here. I've got a bed here that's about 15 foot long, 14 foot long. Down here will be our cucumber trellis, so we're not going to plant down there. I've amended the soil with Sioux's certified leaf compost. So we're going to top dress it, or we're going to put the adequate amount of Winchester Garden all-purpose fertilizer, the 466. And now we can go about planting beets in a couple of different ways, but what we're going to do is just going to go the traditional row method. You can also use the garden stamp if you wanted to go about doing it that way too. So we'll go ahead and apply the correct amount of fertilizer, organic fertilizer that is, and then we'll go ahead and plant the beets. And there's some things you need to know about beets before and after you've planted them. Now we're just going to slightly work that into the top top half inch or inch of soil. Okay. And then any weeds we see, we'll go ahead and get rid of those, because those will be problems. Going to mark our rows. With this bed being 36 inches, we're going to put 3 rows in, because now, thing a lot of us gardeners get confused by is, oh, we can cram them real tight because they're small. Just remember the end result before you start. They're going to get very big. The bulbs are edible, the greens are edible, the stalks, we haven't really found a tasty way of making the stalks edible. If you have, that's great. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take my pointed hoe, and I'm going to just go down no more than a ½ inch. And we'll do that for all 3 rows, and then we'll go ahead and plant. All right, another important aspect of gardening, whether you do rows or however you go about gardening, is identifying the beginning of the row and the end of the row, so you know where the row has stopped, because right now you just don't know because the seeds haven't germinated. So that'll identify the ends of the rows. Now let's talk about the seeds for the beets that we're growing here. They are a manageable size that you can handle. Now with these seeds, the way the plant produces seeds, and they produce on the 2nd year, they're biannuals. Each one of these little seed pods is what they are. They can have a multiple of seeds in them, 1 to 5. So whenever you plant them, you're going to have to go in and thin. That's just the way it is. So we're going to go in, and we want to plant these. I plant them. We'll go one there. I plant them about 3 inches apart. Now some people will say plant them 2 inches apart and then thin out the other one. I'm just going to go ahead and plant the way I want the plants to be grown, and then if I need to come in, which we will with the beets, and I'll thin them out even more, and we'll use the small beets for beet greens. And as I talked about earlier, the stalks are not edible at a mature age. At a young age, they're very tender and they can be used very well whenever we thin these out. So I'm just going to go ahead and plant these. Well, come back here. And go to about every 3 inches, and then we will go ahead and cover them up. Now you can pre-soak these seeds if you so choose to do so. It will help speed germination up. These will germinate in about 4 to 14 days, give and take, based on the temperature. So let me get the rest of these planted. All of them planted here. I'm just going to take the back of my leaf rake here and just gently cover the seeds over. Other things you want to know about the beets are they take about 67 days to reach maturity. You can transplant them. You can start them inside and transplant. They don't tend to be as shocked in transplanting as other root crops, but I would recommend just doing it as we have here, pre-soaking the seeds, plant them in the ground directly, especially at this point of the year when you don't have a whole lot of grow room space available. Plus, it's just much easier on the plant to start from seed. It's a cool weather crop that can be grown in early spring, late fall. If you're in the southern parts of the United States where it gets very hot during the summer, this plant is best grown in the fall, and then you can harvest it through the winter months. So beets, if you have never tried them, try them again. If you don't like them, try them again. They're a fun, exciting plant to grow, as well as you can pickle them, you can grill them, you can bake them, you can do a lot of versatility with the beets. So we've got the window bay, and we're going to plant potatoes in a device called the girdle. Now this is from the Seedkeeper Company. This one's actually got wet here. What this girdle comprises of is a commercial grow bag with perforated holes for drainage and a burlap outer piece that's stable stitched on the top and the bottom so it doesn't fray. This is the 5-gallon girdle. They come in 1 and 10-gallon girdle sizes, capacities. You can find all that information at theseedkeepercompany.com. We've grown in peppers and tomatoes in these, and they've worked very well. So we're going to do potatoes in them for a very distinct reason, very important reason, because we don't have to dig through the ground to find them. When it's time to harvest, you simply pour the soil out, find the potatoes, works really well. So what we're going to do here, what we're planting is dark red northerns and some Russian banana fingerlings from Wood Prairie Farms. Now, we've got them chitted here, or sprouted, and we're going to do 3 in, we're going to do 3 in each girdle here. So I filled the girdle approximately 50% full. Now I'm going to take the dark red northerns and I'm just going to bury them. And then I'm going to take about 1 scoopful, or equivalent of 1 shovelful of certified leaf compost here from Sue's, and I'm just going to cover them up. And then as they emerge through the top of this soil, we're going to continue to backfill. And I'm going to do the same with this other girdle, the other 5-gallon girdle, with the Russian banana fingerlings. And we're going to put them in the window bay because they do get a lot of sunlight over here. And that's, we're going to go ahead and get that done. All right, like you saw us planting in the window bay of the basement, we're going to do a unique way of planting. Now, I saw this online, a different scenario type of planting. You can use one of these decorative vases or whatever you call it. And we used this last year for bush beans, and it was a relatively successful experience until we had it in the window bay, and we'll fix this with the potatoes, that the beans came up and squirrels or rabbits or something gnawed them down. So we're going to do it, we're going to put the potatoes on the porch back in the corner there because they can't handle partial shade. And what we're going to plant in this particular vase, whatever, is 1 Russian banana fingerling potato. Obviously, we're working with a very minimal amount of space in here. So we're just going to go 1, and I go with the banana Russian fingerling from Wood Prairie Farms because if we use big potatoes, like normal size potatoes, they may not come out of here because they may get too big and get stuck or whatever, and I don't want to break this to get potatoes out. Will if I have to. So what we first want to do is, and it's not necessary, but we're going to put sand in the bottom. Now with this particular vase, it didn't have drainage holes, so I took and punctured a couple of holes in the bottom, and you can set this in a drain pan or something so it doesn't drip all over your patio or porch. So we're just going to take some regular sand here and just going to add a little bit to the bottom, not much, just for good drainage. And get that all leveled off there. Then I'm going to take some certified leaf compost from Sue's here, and I'm going to fill it about halfway full. Put my potatoes in, or my potato in. Good black gold there. Which just won't take much because it is a very small area. And we're about half full there. Yeah, we'll go. Now what I'm going to do is, we had these chitting, or getting the eyes put on the potato inside for a couple of weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply take and push this potato right down in the center there. I'm going to put about a half a scoop more. Now this container is about the equivalent of what a shovelful would be, so just kind of keep that in mind if you're wanting the exact measurement. I'm just going to cover it about 4 inches above the potato, and then once the potato begins to emerge, we'll go ahead and backfill it and heal it up basically in the container. So another unique way of growing potatoes in a vase on your porch.
So planting flowers in your garden is important for many reasons. One is because it helps attract the bees to your garden, and also they're nice to look at. So we're actually planting some flowers here in between our tomatoes, or where our tomatoes are going to go. We have it prepped here for when we're ready to plant tomatoes, which is going to be a couple weeks yet. So I'm planting the spurred Snapdragon, and Snapdragons are good flowers to plant in cooler weather because they like cooler weather. They don't like hot weather, so you can plant them pretty much anytime the soil can be worked. So I'm just going to go ahead. I kind of got the area prepped here with the hoe. I knocked whatever weeds down we had, and I'm going to go ahead, just plant a couple, cover them up loosely, water them in, and then we'll be set to go. Okay, so I'm planted. I'm just going to cover them up, and then I'll get some water. So consider, even if you only grow vegetables, consider planting some flowers for your garden.
We encourage you to try everything you see on the program.
Grow your own, know where your food comes from, and know what's in it.
Alright, so we're going to plant peas up here in the front yard garden. I've pre-soaked them in moo-poo tea. You can see how they've swelled up. We're using the fence here as our trellis. Now this will also be used during the summer months for a lot of varieties of whole beans that we're going to be planting. So with peas, it's pretty easy to go about planting them. You want to plant them about 3/4 of an inch deep. I'm going to plant 2 inches apart. This is our in-ground container for Jerusalem artichokes. So by the time the artichokes begin to emerge, the peas will pretty much be done. And what I don't get in this slot here, I can put around and put on the other side of the post. So I can just take either my finger, or I can use the trowel, and just every 2 inches make a little indentation. There we go. And these will take about 70 days to reach maturity. That'll look good there. Now we'll go on the other side of the post. All right, so I'm going to plant the rest of these. Now the benefit of us having the fence here is it's a divider between our front yard and the road. Now if you share a fence with a neighbor, you might want to talk to the neighbor before you start growing stuff on the fence, and maybe even have a share deal. You know, you share half of what's grown on the fence. That could be an option for you. So we'll get these planted here. Now these are a cool weather crop, and if you are in a warm climate like in the south, you'll plant these later in the summer so you have a fall harvest, or late in the winter so you have a very early spring harvest. They do not do well in warm weather, but they will grow in cool weather just fine. So it's pretty much as easy as it is to plant peas. They do work well in containers also. You just want to make sure they're moist and have good sunlight. Thanks for watching. Join us again next time for more organic gardening and food preserving. I'm Joy Barrett, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewiveggardener.com.